Bears fans, YouTube, Bears fans talk coming at you. And again, another Victory Monday.
Let's go.
We're here to talk about Caleb Williams' recent performance, some big news from around the league. But before we get started, Kevin, news tradition, ring in the victory triangle.
We got now 3 wins. Count them off. Ready? 1. That's 3, boys.
That's 3.
Congrats.
Exactly as many. I mean, they're preseason wins. And we were all hyping the group chat during the game. And then our boy Tony had to kind of take us back down to earth and just be like, hey, remember, this is preseason.
You know what, though?
And there's some truth to that, but there's also why watch these games at all if you can't get something from them?
I think the biggest takeaway is that, and I posted the picture of what my wife said too, because I said, Bosh, you have to watch this drive from Caleb Williams. Mm-hmm. And her response was, like, after she saw it, and we'll break it down and dissect a little more, but her response was, isn't that what a quarterback is supposed to do?
Yeah.
And yes, it is. But the problem is that the Bears have not had the ability to have a player he is a whole other caliber, John. And, like, yes, it's preseason. Yes, I understand that. It doesn't count. But, like, what we're seeing out of Caleb, and we'll talk about more, like I said, it is different.
Yeah.
It is a different level of play that I don't think we've seen ever here. And Jay was close, but not at this level.
So I got a lot of things that I want to talk about this performance, good and bad, obviously, pretty hype. But I want to share a come up that I had, courtesy of my dad. So the family business, we own a small chain of grocery stores. My dad does a lot of like the buying from suppliers. Every once in a while I'll get like tickets or like stuff just from like different like beverage companies. He's like, I go over there yesterday. He's like, yeah, Miller Lite, gave us like some shirts and stuff, and he's like, it's like a signed ball, and I'm like, well, who is it? And, we're looking at it, and we can't really tell. And my dad's like, I don't know who it is. And he's like, I'm like, are you serious? And I'm looking around, and there's a sticker on it. It's Rome Odunze. So I got a signed Rome Odunze football.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Pretty apropos. I mean, Rome had his ups and downs, but they clearly were trying to get him into the mix.
Involved.
Sierra. All right. But yeah, that's pretty rad.
Well, he had a nice, he obviously had that great catch, but then he also had that little end around that he ran. So, like, I mean, getting Rome going, it's great. I think it's not Caleb, obviously, but he's still a top 10 pick.
God, what if it was Caleb and my dad was just like, I don't know. No, Rome Odunze could be like a big deal. So we'll see.
It's definitely not small. It's kind of like, I think Rome is overshadowed because of Caleb, but, like, nevertheless, great come up for you, Johnny. You always get lucky like that.
Yeah, pretty pumped about it. So first thing to talk about this week, recapping last week's Hard Knocks.
Yep.
As we're recording this, it was like 6 days ago, so it's not super fresh in my mind.
What I will say though is it was delayed, and I will never forget. I will never forget that delay because and I was glad someone said something because I was like, dude, what is wrong? Like
what?
I thought I thought the
oh, you thought it was just you?
I thought it was just me, right? Anytime there's an outage now, you go to X or Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm glad someone said something because I thought it was me.
So I think my initial takeaways from Hard Knocks is just like, it's a lot more polished and kind of just like a little bit more bland than I was expecting it to be. And I said it after watching the first week. I thought it was it was fun, but mostly as a Bears fan, it's fun watching the Bears. If I were like a Raiders fan, I don't think I would care.
So I thought the second episode was a lot better than the first. And then the other thing too is my father-in-law, who's a huge Bears fan, Bogdan's huge.
Yeah.
He just watched it, and so for him, he loved it. Right, he was like super excited to see like the Bears training facility.
Yeah,
something that he's never seen. Right, he's like seeing like he does also have social media. So like he doesn't get like the access. When I say access,
that's true.
He doesn't get like we're seeing all this stuff.
We see these people every day on social media and things like that.
Correct. And like for someone who doesn't have that kind of access, I'd say the older generation fan, which HBO's targets us. Let's be honest. Like we are their target, but like maybe for like the older fan who's maybe not as.
It's certainly more of a novelty to be able to get like that kind of perspective. Like we're living in the age where we know these players. Players were a little bit more mysterious. Like back in the day, like the Michael Jordan era, the fact that we didn't, like, not everyone knew what Michael Jordan was thinking at a given time definitely played to his benefit.
Oh, without question. Yeah. Like I think it helped Jordan significantly that there was something mysterious about him and it wasn't aligned, which almost it's an testament to LeBron to be able to survive this entire like social media generation without a ton of stuff. But yeah, the access that we have, even at such a young age, like so much was being talked about Caleb before he even, like I'm not even gonna say took a snap in the NFL, before he was even drafted number one overall. How much crap was talked about Caleb Williams?
So some takeaways from this Hard Knocks episode, they kind of featured the Keenan Allen, Jalen Johnson really getting the best of him.
Sure.
You know, I'm a little bit worried about where Keenan Allen is in terms of like we haven't seen much of him like out in the preseason. I mean, he's a veteran. There was also that rumor came out that he was like gained 20 pounds.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's even true.
He didn't gain 20
but he does look kind of like a bigger guy.
I think he's got some bulk on him. I don't think Keenan's not a burner. Keenan's a route runner.
At the end of the day, I'm like not actually worried about it because at the end of the day, Keenan Allen is still in his contract year.
Well,
the Bears didn't just like pay 4 years for him to just kind of like F off and slack.
You're the one who like wanted to extend Keenan Allen a couple weeks ago. I was like, yo, let's hold up and see where he's at because he is on the latter end of his career and he's on the wrong side of 30, like I said. But like Keenan Allen for me though is also like, especially at a veteran receiver level, like what he can bring and what he can provide, especially for our boy Rome over here now. We got a signed football from him. You have a signed football from him, not we.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
We already talked about this about the football cards, man.
He did. It's yours. But
you're not getting my rookie Tyson Bagent card from me.
I will talk about Tyson when we get to the preseason game. But anyways, for Rome especially, and DJ Moore as well, who just locked up long term, it's great to have a veteran who's been in the league and who has done it and knows how to do it. One of an elite route runner there, kind of anchoring the wide receiver room for me. I think that's great.
I think there was a lot of like noise when I think it was like CBS put out like their NFC North like wide receiver room ranking, and they put Bears at number 3, and a lot of people are freaking out about it, which I think is ridiculous. Like I don't think the Packers have a good wide receiver room at all. But here's what I'll say: is these Bears wide receivers have not taken the field and played a single real snap with each other once. We've accomplished nothing. So I think for like Bears fans to kind of be getting on their high horse and be like, we got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, we have the best wide receiver room in the league. I mean, they got to prove it first.
No.
If you recall, Kevin White was also a 9th overall pick. Rome Odunze is not Kevin White.
Okay, so Kevin White was different from West Virginia, completely different prospect than Rome Odunze. Okay, that's what I'll say. He's a UW guy, go Dogs.
I completely agree.
Completely different.
But you never know.
Second thing I'm going to say about that comment, yes, they haven't played a snap together, but I feel like that analogy works. What you just talked about works really, really well in basketball. Because basketball is like you have one ball and there's 5 guys in the court and you're trying to put the ball in the basket. In football, it's much more of a team game than an individual game. So having 3 wide receivers on the team at the same time and on the field at the same time. All of them aren't expected to touch the ball every single possession. You know what I mean? Like completely different. It just gives weapons for Caleb as opposed to basketball. Like that analogy works well for basketball, not so well for football. It's just options.
I still think there's roles you got to play in the wide receiver room. I think it'll work out. But I think
I'm very excited.
I think the Bears have got to prove to me that like this is actually this room is the studs that we say they are. Especially, like I said, that, Keenan Allen not really doing well against Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson's a lockdown guy, so I think that speaks more to the level that he's at. The other big kind of storyline in the Hard Knocks was Ian Wheeler versus Bayless Jones Jr., who just got moved to running back.
Yeah.
Played pretty well.
Yeah.
In that game.
Week 2 or week 1? Week 1, technically. Second game, week 1. Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns, but he dropped a punt, right?
He did.
He did okay in the last game too.
I didn't really see much of his stat line. I knew he was out there.
Yeah, he was running the ball.
Yeah, is he also one of the punt gunners?
So there's no more gunners anymore, Johnny. Remember they just line up now.
No, punting.
Oh, my bad. Punting. Yeah. I don't know actually.
I thought I heard someone say that.
Could be.
So Bayless Jones is fighting for his job, and you got this Ian Wheeler. Who looks like he's got some great speed, was really getting dogged on by the coach. That was like the one moment of that of Hard Knocks where I really felt like this is kind of stuff I want to see. Yeah. The coach is kind of being a jerk. Like run through this guy, and you almost feel a little bit bad for him as a guy who might not make the team.
I
Or
don't,
I don't know, the little internal sense of anxiety, you know?
how about this? I don't feel bad for a guy. He's still got a signing bonus at like 25K or whatever. And you know what? He's living out his dream. And
Yeah.
like the cool thing too is what is he doing right now?
They said he's what's the word?
Deferred med school.
Deferred a med school admission. So
As a doctor yourself,
Yeah.
what do you think? How do you react to an individual who's literally took his MCATs, obviously scored well enough, interviewed, is in med school, and just decides to do a side quest
Yeah.
to go play on the Chicago Bears, and then he gets going Hard Knocks.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can understand, like, you know, wanting to make sure that this med school or make sure this football dream was dead before going to med school. What I'm more impressed of is just like how locked in you got to be to have like a football career in college and still get all your stuff done and do well enough to get accepted to medical school.
Yep.
I mean, there was probably some time where I was goofing around where I probably could have cut off and maybe done something a little more productive with myself, but I'm not sure I could have been a full-time athlete to the level that you eventually were fighting for
trained
Ross at the
camp.
end. Yeah, so he wasn't just some walk-on guy. I'm sure he probably played well for his school. He was Harvard, right? I think they said that.
Yeah, Harvard, correct.
Yeah. So I mean, he probably got real playtime Hardner. He had to like be in the weight room and stuff like that. So I mean, hats off to him. I mean, it's hard for me. I'm rooting for him. I don't know if he's going to beat out Velus Jones. I don't think he's making this roster.
It looks like he was in the weight room. Let's be honest. Like he is.
Oh, he's a big dude.
He is in the weight room.
big dude.
He is very like. There's obviously some good genetics that he has to like just from this get go to like get there. Like anyone in the NFL has good genetics
Yeah.
to begin with, but like the fact he was able to do school and play at that level, like. Can you imagine that guy being your doctor? Whatever practice he goes into, imagine him just walking in and be like, this guy's gonna beat the shit out of me.
I wonder what specialty we go into. I see him as more like a surgeon.
Surgeon,
type.
you
Yeah,
think?
I see him as like a surgeon type.
I can see him like being like a podiatrist or something.
Podiatrist. Those are surgeons.
Oh, are they?
Yeah,
Okay.
they do surgery.
I could just see him like just like being like, oh yeah, does this hurt? I don't know.
I mean, there's like or ortho, sports med, things
Yeah,
like that.
ortho sportsman.
Yeah,
That's more.
yeah.
I was thinking like more along that line. So, and really quick update on the game. Velus Jones Jr. had 6 carries for 13 yards.
Not a great day.
Nope. Ian Wheeler had 2 carries for 4 yards. So yeah. So just kind of like some. And
So
then
Homer got a lot of play time.
Homer did too.
Did Roshan Johnson get in the game? I feel like I haven't seen much of him.
I haven't seen Johnson. And I didn't see Swift either. Herbert
Swift was
taking,
hurt. Swift was out.
Oh, was he out?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he had like some minor stuff going on.
Herbert was taking all the first team carries, and then receptions. Ian Wheeler had 2 receptions for 14 yards. I'm just trying to give you like just for those 2 for the roster spot. But do you remember how I said they foul a guy that gets cut?
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be.
I think it's gonna be the quarterback. That quarterback guy.
Reed.
Yeah,
Yeah, it could be Austin Reed.
another guy. Like I mean, you got the family
Yeah.
in the stands who are super emotionally invested.
Yeah.
He's playing pretty well. I mean, he's out there. He's not embarrassing himself.
It's not Tyson Bagent.
Well, Tyson Bagent is safe. It's going to be him or Brett Rippon. But the thing of the matter is, if we decide to go with this Austin Reed guy, and like they got those shots in, like talking up with Cole Kmet and stuff like that, if we decided to go for him, we'd be entering the season with 3 quarterbacks who have a combined 4 starts, and all of them belong to Tyson Bagent.
Yeah, so there'll be 2 rookies, but here's the nice thing though, no threat for Caleb.
That's true. But I think at the same time, I think you need that veteran guy. Rippon's not going to be coming for anybody's job, but he's still a guy who's a veteran in the NFL, kind of knowing how to navigate that lifestyle and being a little bit of that kind of guy in the locker room.
Sure.
I think that's probably, if I'm Austin Reed, I think the writing is on the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, he practice squad guy, or maybe he might get a chance somewhere else. I think he's like, looked legit. He could belong in the league, but
Yeah.
I'll have to see where that goes.
The last thing I'm going to say about the Hard Knocks episode was DJ's Morris to look into his family. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Seems
2
like
kids? 2 kids?
2 kids.
Yeah.
He's got the little boy and the older daughter, but just like, I mean, he just seems like a guy. Like he seems just like a real guy.
Yeah.
Like that seemed like authentically DJ Moore, and the guy who you like see on the sideline, that is authentically who he is.
Oh, and the I like football thing.
Yeah,
he
like-
gets leveled. Yeah.
Like he is authentically seems like just like a good guy.
I have liked, I didn't really know. I don't feel like I heard any interviews or really saw much of DJ Moore talking. I feel like he's one of the persons I'm coming to like the most from Hard Knocks.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open up trash and Hard Knocks. I guess it's been kind of fun to see. But like I said, if I wasn't really, I don't know. Maybe I'll watch next year and see how I think.
You know who he reminds me of, kind of?
Who?
Nelly.
Nelly? I don't know anything about Nelly.
But he just kind of seems like a cool guy like Nelly. Like just like
Yeah. The one like reaction that me and Tara had like at the same time is when they were at that ice cream place and they had the hot dog flavored ice cream with
yeah,
the relish on it. We were both like, ew.
I know.
Yeah, and he and DJ Moore seemed to have that same reaction to it. I'd never even heard of that place. What was it called?
Never heard of it
It was a
either.
museum of ice cream or something like that.
Dude, I've never heard of it either. It was
Interesting.
a lot of pink though.
Yeah,
But I saw, you know, he kind of looks like Nelly. Too. I think Nelly's a good comp for him.
yeah. What does Nelly look like?
Like a little bit.
I'm not sure about that, man.
Dude, I don't know. Let me know. If you think DJ Moore looks like Nelly, you let me know.
All right,
I'm
so
very curious.
going to the actual game, Bears
Yes.
versus Bengals.
Yes.
Bears played their starters. The Bengals did not. We got no Joey B. We got no John.
Offensive side of the ball.
Defense they played?
Yes.
I don't think defense they played their starters. I want you to Google that real quick. So I'm just open up by kind of saying like so. I don't think this was the game plan. In fact, Ryan Poles said at halftime it was not. The starters went deeper into the game than anticipated, and I think the big reason why is that first drive, Caleb 3 passes, 3 and out. One was like, a ball looked like maybe a miscommunication. They thought it was like, he probably thought it was like a stop route, and the receiver kept going, and that was an intentional grounding. So they punt. Bengals get maybe like 1 first down, send it back. I think they tried to run a couple of times.
Maybe all right as the backup.
Yeah, I think it was all backups. I don't think the Bengals played any starters.
Okay.
But anyway, so Caleb and the offense go 3 and out, 3 straight drives.
Yeah, I was ugly.
Yeah.
I was like, uh-oh.
So then it comes down to, I guess it was the fourth drive. I think was
First drive of the second quarter.
I think the first drive of the second quarter was this play. I think so.
No,
No.
That was the second drive.
So this was the second drive. The first drive where they scored the 3 points was a bomb, beautiful pass to Tyler Scott.
Yep.
And he's got horse college PI.
Yeah.
Which
If he didn't, Caleb, I think someone said he would have scored a touchdown. I don't think he would have scored a touchdown, but it was definitely going to be a completion. He was open.
Yeah.
And that was the throw to
and
make.
it was a really good ball. Like for a second, I thought maybe it might have overthrown him a little bit, but that was just because like he lost so much momentum getting pulled. But then Caleb takes a sack,
Yep.
and they end up having to kick the field goal.
So let's talk about that drive. So I thought that drive was really interesting, especially Tyler Scott, because we've heard that Tyler Scott has been a deep threat, and there's a connection there. The fact that Caleb went that way and looked for it, and the fact we actually saw it. So he obviously had one-on-one coverage, no one was over the top, and Caleb took the shot. That's what I want to see. Like the fact that we're seeing them extend the ball, like. No, it's preseason, blah, 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 blah. But still, like, Caleb saw it, identified it, and made the throw.
Yeah.
And it was on the money.
Yeah. And then the next drive, I mean, we had this, absolutely ridiculous ridiculous pass. Caleb going.
Look at this. Look at him just bail out.
Just
like
like
that.
fully.
Square his shoulders on the run.
Didn't square his shoulders. That was basically
He
it.
did.
I mean, he was just like parallel with the line. Squaring your shoulders means like straight, I thought.
Yeah, look at he squares him right there.
I don't know. He's like fully going to his side. I mean, this throw is an absolute dime, and it's exciting. And then followed by
I think the term's dot.
dime or dot. That's why Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes is not relevant anymore.
But you still call them dimes.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, whatever.
They're dots.
So followed up by
That's a square.
Caleb made another play, rolling to his right, deked the defensive lineman,
Yeah.
shaking him, rolling right, sprinting towards the sideline, comes across his body again, and like frozen rope straight to Rome Odunze, who unfortunately just kind of lost track of the sideline.
I know.
Caleb thought that was a touchdown. I think everybody really wanted it.
So did you see? So like immediately I knew he was out of bounds because the ref had his hat off.
Yeah.
So like that's the sign when a player goes out of
Yeah.
bounds, he throws his hat down, and I'm like oh, like I didn't even need to see the replay. Like the second the hat's off,
Yeah.
you know.
So that was a rookie play by Rome,
But that throw,
still
though.
a really encouraging throw. And then followed by another scramble, broken play. Caleb runs in for a 7-yard score.
I mean, I was so hyped. Yeah. Like first 3 drives, I was like, oh no. But you know what the good thing about the first 3 drives was?
What?
I think I got to see what the Bears like may actually look like. Hear me out here.
Yeah.
We know every drive isn't going to be a touchdown by Caleb Williams or a field goal, right? There's going to be 3 and outs. But what did I see that I got to see that I really like to see?
What?
What's his name? Tory Taylor.
Tory Taylor.
What did I say, Troy?
You said
Punting the ball.
Yeah.
He's a very, very good punter.
I'm so happy with Tory Taylor. I mean, we talked. I was all about it.
Yep.
I think a lot of the fans like really liked the move. There were a couple like radio analysts that were just like, "Why are you picking a punter in the 4th round? Doesn't make any sense."
It makes a lot of sense.
Gil, our punter, was the worst in the league. Now we got one who's probably vying for the best. He's bombing it. Like I had them. So he had 3 punts that game for 150 yards. I'm not sure if that's net.
It's got to be net. Absolutely.
He's like 49.2 yards per punt.
One inside the 20.
One inside. He's had 5 punts. Has had two of them are inside the 20.
So like I'm just saying though, but like that is how a typical game, not a typical game, but like every drive is gonna end in a touchdown. And so like, but here's the thing though, John, you go 3 and out. The worst thing you can do is give the other team great field position. If you have a guy who can pin them deep and pin them back there, it's exactly what you want, especially for a rookie quarterback.
No.
Then rely on that defense. I was like defense hold, and yes, it's against the backups. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be huge. But here's what I want to say about those first 3 drives. And, last week we said, that the thumbnail of the video was like, is Caleb Williams already a proven star? And it's because we're seeing plays like this. Like, this is special. And I'm not taking anything away from that. But I've got some realistic concerns from the things I saw in the first 3 drives compared to the second 2 drives. The first 3 drives, it looked like it was very much like they came out with the plan, like, catch the ball, get the ball out. We don't want 5-6 seconds in the pocket. We want you to survey the defense, know who your hot guy is, and make the play.
Yep.
It didn't happen.
Yep.
Like, there weren't big, I mean, he had a couple like bootlegs and stuff like that, but it was very much just like kind of quick plays. All the big plays here, including the PI on Tyler Scott, required some scrambling, which is not going to be there all the time. It is not sustainable. I don't think it's sustainable offense.
So I'm nervous when he does this when he bails right there and boom, someone like Nichols right there blitzing. He doesn't see him.
In his touchdown run, he seemed to have like really good awareness as to where the rush was coming from. And maybe this is sustainable. Maybe Caleb Williams is that guy and he can be the guy just kind of like running it. But like, you know what? If we have a quarterback who is relying on athleticism and not just like good, savvy football skills of being a quarterback, you know who we got?
Yeah,
Justin Fields.
Yeah.
We got Justin Fields.
And so before we get to Justin Fields and that, but I saw one of the plays that Justin Fields made like last week or whatever, and it was like, oh, I can do that, whatever, anything you do, anything like that. But like what we're seeing out of Caleb is completely different than anything we've ever seen previously, and like it's exciting. It is. I'm excited for the season. I'm excited to see what they can do. I'm excited for the weapons he has. And it's not going to be a great season. He's not going to throw 50 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Right? That's not what we're saying here. We're not saying that. But what we're saying is that, like, he has the potential to grow in the next 4 to 5 years into something that can be amazing.
I think
he has more potential than anything we've ever seen.
I think he's going to be like a day one upgrade from Justin Fields. I think
without question
we're gonna see bigger plays. So like potential to grow into more. But this could be a season in which we could be sitting here 6 months from now being like, Justin Fields has got to work on the problem. He's getting sacked too much. He's spending too much time in the pocket, and Justin Fields is throwing an interception and a half a game through the first 6 weeks. That's something that we could be talking about.
Like Caleb, you're saying?
Or no, so Caleb is throwing an interception and a half. So like I think he could have a sack problem. I think he could have an interception problem.
Wouldn't be surprised.
We'll see. So I mean that's something.
But those are rookie and those are coachable things.
Yeah, of course.
Like when I say coachable, he seems like he's coachable. It felt like Justin. That's the way Justin played.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we can see some progress here. I'm really excited, though, John. Like, from what I saw, I was ecstatic from it. It was great.
Yeah, so I'm like I said, like, as just trying to keep a critical eye, because we can just glaze Caleb Williams up all we want, but I think that was something they were trying to do in the first 3 drives. It's very deliberate, and it didn't work. And I do think that's what we need to be able to see is him being able to make throws over the middle of the field, in the pocket, quick decisions.
And they pivoted, and they let Caleb stay.
They did.
They pivoted,
but I think those are still plays he's going to want. I don't think he can rely on making 3 moves in the pocket, running out of it, sprinting towards the sideline, and throwing off his back foot.
The goal is he doesn't have to do that, though. So I was actually thinking about this on the way out. Like I sent that like sketch or whatever. Like, oh, the Bears don't have to, run the ball every time, blah blah blah. But here's what I was thinking about though. What has been the focal point of the Bears offense? Maybe not last year, but maybe for the past 5 out of 8 years.
What?
Matt Forte.
Yeah.
And then it was after
5 out of 8. Matt Forte was forever ago.
That's what I'm saying though. And after Matt Forte, it was David Montgomery. The focal point of the offense was the running back for so long because the Bears were so bad that it was like either we're handing the ball off to our running back or we're throwing him a screenplay or a dump out.
Yeah.
That was the Bears offense.
Yeah.
Those years when Forte was getting like 70% usage.
Yeah.
That is not going to be this team, John. That's what I'm excited
Yeah.
for.
No,
That and like if we lose games, fine, whatever. At least Caleb's throwing the ball. At least we're extending the field down there. At least it's not a game at the line of scrimmage anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what I think that's what
It'll
I'm
be
pumped
exciting to see how this materializes at. I'm truly unsure as to whether or not they'll even play against the Chiefs.
I don't think
a lot
they
of
do.
people are saying no, and that's kind of standard fare. Is like, and
I've seen enough.
and there's some utility in that. I mean, there's like a bunch of guys who are trying to make the team. Let's see what we got. Make sure we're making the right decisions there. So, but it's still a long time. I think it's the 8th. I think is the Thursday night, the season opener, which is not the Bears, is the 5th, and then I think
It's Thursday.
opening Sunday is the 8th.
So we get football. It's crazy. So we'll get the 5th we get football, then the 6th we get football, and then the 8th we get football, and then the 9th we get football.
And I would imagine college probably starts the week before that. So there's football on the 7th there too.
But so to watch the Friday game, the 6th game, you got to have Peacock.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah, I'll burn it from somebody.
Let's talk about the other thing, the actually big news about the game. You sent a Snapchat about it.
What?
Do you remember?
No.
Who did we see pregame?
Oh, Simone Biles. Yeah. So I'm not.
Can you pull up a picture?
I couldn't find it when I was trying to look it up before. Simone Biles Packers, but I think it's become a bigger thing, so maybe it's there now. Here it is.
It's right there.
I know.
And the Milwaukee Sentinel. Come on. It doesn't even look like the one that the fullback for the Niners' wife made for her.
Biles pushed the boundaries of this. Okay, yeah. So of course they would show this picture. She was in a walking boot too.
I saw that.
So you know what?
She was complaining about it. I know you didn't watch the Olympics as religiously as I did, but she definitely had an ankle issue.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the other thing I was thinking, like, no one's gonna tell the most decorated Olympian like what to do and what not.
Yeah,
to
they
do.
were like handling it like really awkwardly on the radio, and I think ultimately they just kind of decided to be like super like PC and be like, she can do whatever she wants, but you know what? Maybe someone should make her a jacket. And I'm just like, Simone, you're right. You can wear whatever you want, like, but if you're all in, if you want to make a good impression, I think this was not a super savvy move.
I agree.
And I don't like it. The first time you're Soldier Field, you're donning Packer stuff. It just kind of depicts a level of not quite understanding what's going on here.
Or I also thought about it could have been a power play.
I don't see that.
Is he a lock to make the team?
Oh, for sure. No, he's actually playing really well. No, he's a lock.
But the fact he is playing is concerning for me. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying. Just saying.
What do you mean? The fact that he is playing?
Just saying.
No, I think he's out there with the starters.
Okay.
I think he's playing really well.
Okay. I'm just saying.
No, I think he's out there. No, he's not going to not make the
Maybe
team.
this was her just like, hey, like, if you want to get me in, if you want me to be, or maybe I'm not going to be your Taylor Swift. Maybe that's what that was. It had to mean bigger, something more than that.
No, I just think that she didn't understand the rivalry.
You don't think she
I don't think she
understood?
understands the rivalry here.
Maybe I'm thinking like too hard about it. But I was sad. I was sad to hear it because
I think she understands. I think she gets like, oh, like who are the Packers rivals? The Bears. I think she gets it, but I don't think she gets it to sense like I'm sure she's just like, I like this coat. It's a cute coat, and it is a very cool coat. But I
maybe
think
there's no pictures of her husband on the Bears yet.
yeah, probably.
He didn't play week 1. He was in Paris.
I mean, I'm sure she paid a good amount of money for this coat, and I guess.
Oh no, he did play week 1. He didn't play the early one. What do you mean? You think she pays for those coats? People give her that stuff.
This custom Jonathan Owens coat, I bet she bought it from somebody.
Do you know the story about the fullback for the Niners' wife?
Yeah.
She makes these coats.
Yeah, and I don't think she just gave it to Taylor Swift. I think Taylor Swift paid her for it.
Paid her in what?
Money.
No.
Are you serious?
I don't think so.
I do think so.
I think that like the amount of positive publicity you get from giving Tay that jacket, how many requests do you think she has for those jackets?
Yeah, and I think if you're Taylor Swift, you're not being so petty to be like, hey, give me this
not give me.
jacket.
It's a gift.
I don't know
it's a
about
gift.
That. I don't know about that. I think she probably paid for it. I think Simone Biles probably paid for it too. And I don't think it came from the same person. It doesn't look like
it doesn't because
it
it's like the stitch jacket thing.
Yeah.
But she needs to get some Bears gear, girl. You look really good with the B. I would love it.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I wonder if she responds to. I'm sure that there was some talk about this. Maybe there wasn't.
I hope so.
Maybe it didn't even kind of get to her. What else do we want to talk about?
The last thing was the Bears, the Steelers.
Yes.
This was an atrocious performance.
Yeah.
So it was on. So I watched the broadcast on Fox.
Oh, did you watch some of this game?
No, I watched the broadcast on Fox for this game or for the Bears game, and then NFL Network had games the rest of the day. So I flipped back to NFL Network and just had it on in the background. So this was the night game. So this game started at 7. I was like, oh, cool. Russ is starting. I get to watch it. Russ looks awful. he looks so bad. When Justin Fields came in, he looks even worse.
Yeah.
Dude, it is. If I'm Mike Tomlin right now, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, dude.
What did I get myself into?
Bring Mitch Trubisky back.
But the funny thing was they were playing the Bills.
Kenny Pickett.
No, they were playing the Bills too.
Oh,
So it
yeah.
was Justin Fields versus Mitch.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is like
Wow.
failed Bears quarterback.
God, is
Purgatory.
there a picture at the end of the game of them dapping each other up? I'd
Yeah.
frame that, put it right here. Like,
Dude, it was
But,
brutal.
I mean,
Look at this. They threw. So they played for the whole game, the entirety of the game.
Yeah.
They scored 3 points in total of 139 yards combined.
yeah. So I think Justin.
That's against second and third
I
stringers.
think they really given Justin the opportunity because they didn't even get the third or the fourth string guy in there because I think they're really just trying to decide like who's the team here and they probably still don't know. I went on record last week of saying that like it would hurt me if Justin Fields had a lot of success. You know, I think I'm gonna put that aside because at the end of the day, if he gets 51% of the snaps, we go from a 6th-round pick to a 4th-round pick, and which could be a really loaded draft for us next year. We have like something like 10 picks. I would imagine we're going to trade some of them away and probably try and consolidate either for a big name player or moving up in the draft next year.
No, I think it's going to be a trade for sure.
Yeah, I think so too.
Kind of like the Sweat trade.
Yeah.
So we traded away a 2nd-round pick
Yeah.
for Sweat.
Yeah.
Great move.
And we didn't talk about that. I'm not sure if that news had come out last week where they Bears had tried to make a move for Judon from the Patriots. No, who was it?
Was it no?
The Falcons got him.
The Falcons got him.
I can't remember who he came from. Was it the Eagles?
No, I think it was the Patriots.
It was the Patriots?
Or maybe
So-
he got traded to the. I don't remember his story.
So basically, the defensive end, the Bears offered a 3rd-round pick. The Falcons also offered a 3rd-round pick. Presumably, they decided the Falcons' 3rd-round pick probably might be more valuable because maybe they're going to be a little bit worse. So they went there. I thought that was kind of interesting because the Bears had not, it seemed like they had been content.
Patriots, by the way.
Yeah. So, I mean, Booker is looking a little bit better. I
Looks great.
At the end of the day, I think he's a rookie. I don't think he's going to be a splash. I think we still need something there. But what I feel like the Bears, before I heard this news, what I felt like the Bears were going to do is 3 or 4 weeks into the season, what kind of team do we have? Are we a team like, hey, we could make a splash now? And at that point, they give up some draft capital, see if they get somebody who's at the tail end of their contract, like Swift is, and somebody who's not a contender, and go from there. Or maybe see wait 4 or 5 weeks. Is Booker like legit? Is Booker a starter? Maybe we don't need anybody. So maybe that's what they're trying to do.
Did you hear Judon's quote?
No.
I actually really liked it. So he wanted to get traded from the Patriots. He was looking for like a contract extension or whatever. This is in the midst of CeeDee Lamb's huge contract. I don't know if he's not signed either. Whatever. So Judon, he got quoted because he wanted an extension. The Falcons haven't offered him an extension yet. What he said was, the Atlanta Falcons know nothing about me as a football player and me as a man. Why would I expect them to get, now I'm paraphrasing the rest of it, why would they expect them to give me a huge contract extension just yet?
Well, that's what Montez Sweat got.
But I'm just saying, I thought that was kind of cool though. Like, I'm not saying he's betting on himself, but he's like, you guys don't know me yet. Watch.
Yeah, I'm just
Watch me, and you're gonna be in love with me. Whatever you thought I was worth, I'm worth more.
Yeah,
I thought that was great.
I know. I think it's a good quote too.
I think it's, but for me, that's the type of football player that I want in my locker room. Some guy who's like, oh, you watch, and what my actions speak for the kind of football player I am.
I don't know the ins and outs of this Judon guy, to be perfectly honest with you. I know he had like his last season looked like it was cut short. He only played 4 games, but he was averaging like close to a sack a game the year before.
He's the dude that wears the red, right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he wears.
I didn't see any Patriots
red
game
sleeves.
last year. But yeah, so that's Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. That'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah,
I think Russell Wilson might be actually cooked.
Microwave.
Metal in the microwave, and now he's dead.
Yes, now he's dead.
House is burned down, all his toilets.
So JJ McCarthy, this is the other thing too. You said it was a bad take, but I'm gonna say it again. It is good for the Bears because like in my opinion, I thought JJ McCarthy was very pro ready. I know people said he didn't do anything at Michigan. Still think he's a good quarterback. Still think he could. He was throwing to JJ, who's pretty damn like JJ to JJ,
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson.
And then Jordan Addison. I mean, he had some weapons.
Dude.
And he looked good in that preseason game. He opened up with a pick in the game where he got hurt. I mean, he looks really solid.
He looks very competent.
Yes.
Very, very competent.
I'm not going to say I had any big thoughts one way or the other about whether or not he was going to be good, or like the memes where he was just a guy who handed the ball off. He was a game manager.
He wasn't.
What I will say is I can't look at the situation and be like, okay, well, this is going to make the the NFC North a little bit more open for the Bears.
It's not going to hurt.
But it will. But it won't hurt. But
Yeah.
what bothers me is just like,
Sam Darnold.
this was a storyline. This was him like coming into the draft, getting dogged on,
Yeah.
all these questions. Not like, what is he, the fifth quarterback? Did he go before Penix or after?
After Penix.
So he was
went
he was the fifth quarterback off the draft board. So he's getting dogged on, and this is going to be a storyline. It's like, he's like, oh, I'm going to go out there and show him what I got. And he's so far in that first preseason game, he looked good, but now we're not going to get that opportunity, and it sucks.
fifth quarterback at
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So I think that I almost said Sam Bradford. Sam Darnold now is going to be the quarterback. So formerly a third overall pick to the Jets, a USC kid, has not really had a ton of success for the Jets. Backs up Brock for the 49ers for a couple of years, and now he's getting the opportunity to start again here. He's not that good, is all I'm going to say. You know what would make a lot of sense for the Vikings to do?
What?
Go out and trade for a veteran quarterback.
Are you joking right now?
No, maybe like a guy who's likes to shop at Kohl's. Maybe a guy who's got a young starter behind him.
I saw
named Michael Penix.
I saw those memes in the comment, or those comments in the Instagrams as well. But I think I can't dog on the Vikings.
You don't think Kirk Cousins doesn't make sense to come back?
No, it doesn't make sense to come back.
He knows the playbook.
I can tell you're just joking, but
he knows the playbook.
It made sense for the Vikings to part way with Kirk Cousins.
Sure, but they have a good team.
Yeah.
If you plug Kirk Cousins into this team right now, like
how that? Okay, it's a ridiculous
they're
premise.
a playoff contender.
It's a ridiculous premise.
No, it's not. What if the Falcons want to move on to Penix?
They're not going to do that this year.
But what if they did? No. What if they did, and they trade him back to the Vikings?
No, I mean
you can plug Kirk Cousins in tomorrow, and he would literally be ready to play.
I thought long and hard about keeping Kyle Pitts on my fantasy team. I ended up not doing it, but
I think that's a really, really, really good idea.
What? Keeping Kyle Pitts?
Not keeping Kyle
Well,
Pitts.
we'll see how it goes.
You're not going to be pleased.
But anyway, R.I.P. J.J. McCarthy. I mean, hopefully he comes back.
Meniscus tear. We know all about meniscus. He's here in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Was that D-Rose?
Yeah. Well, it was ACL two.
Yeah.
ACL
a couple of
meniscuses.
meniscuses.
Yeah. Very tough.
Meniscus.
Very tough.
All right. I guess.
See.
Oh, the other thing, I was listening to the Pat McAfee podcast. Pat McAfee put out it was like kind of a compilation of his show, kind of really like hyping up the Bears a little bit. They had Eberflus on the program. I heard him talk, and McAfee for whatever reason is just like all about like the Hard Knocks and really liking what he's seeing from the Bears right now. And he brought up one of his people brought up an interesting statistic. Is 19 of the last 21 seasons there has been someone go from last place in their division to first place in their division. So 19 of the last 21 years that's happened. So more likely than not, that will happen somewhere. What do you think the odds are that becomes the Bears? So I'm going to close out with that question. What do you think the odds are that would be the Chicago Bears in the NFC North?
I don't know if they can win the division. I have them slated like mental. Like I know we'll look at the schedule again, but I had them. The number I had them winning the division. Realistically, I can see them taking a wild card spot.
You had them going 12 and 5 when we did our mocks.
I'm aware. So like, I'm just really concerned about how good Detroit's gonna be. I think that no matter how good the Bears play, I really think Detroit's got a solid team. I'm not as scared about the Packers. I think the Packers are gonna be very good. Not very good isn't right. I think it'll be good to be a very solid team. Not as concerned. The Vikings, whatever. I think that to beat the Lions, it's funny that I'm saying that. Like, who thought I'd ever say that?
Yeah.
But
I think I can look at the Lions and the Packers and understand why they're being listed as the favorites to win the division.
Are the Packers? I think it's the Lions.
No, it's definitely the Lions, but like probably one or two. Like those, I can't argue with anyone who says one of those two teams have the better odds than the Bears to win the division. I can see holes in both of them. I think that the Lions are a Cinderella story that might be up at some point.
No,
I could see it happening. I just don't believe in. I mean,
MCDC's got those boys playing so hard.
I know you love Dan Campbell, but I think
Motor City Dan Campbell.
whatever. I think it's all a gimmick, but
It's not a gimmick.
it's a little bit of a gimmick.
No, it's not.
It's a little bit of a gimmick in my mind.
He's a great guy.
And I think
great head coach.
just being like the hard nosed, like all I fucking think about is you guys thing will only get you so far for so long.
Not when you had this dude. They were like a couple plays away from making it to the Super Bowl.
That being said, I think the
Completely disregards that they're in the NFC Championship game last year.
one of those two teams, the Lions or the Packers, I think are probably going to fall below the Bears, but I don't think both.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what's going to happen. I think one of them is going to have like a disappointing season.
Let's put it this way: there won't be 3 teams from the NFC North making the playoffs. That's another one.
I could see that happen. I could see
3
that.
teams.
I could see it happening.
So I guess we have 7.
I don't think
playoff
both
spots
of
now.
these teams. I can't say which one. I think it might. I think more likely it'll be the Packers that we pass if we do. But I'd be willing to bet that the Bears land in second. I'd put money down on that, but I couldn't tell you who's won.
I'm gonna go on record and say that 2 teams from the NFC North will make the playoffs.
So not 3.
Not 3.
Okay.
And are those 2 gonna be the Bears and Packers, or the Bears and Lions? Or is it gonna be the Lions and Packers?
I mean, it'll all come down to that second half of the season. Like we're gonna start. Like
week 10.
we should start real hot. We should be looking in a position going.
I
down the
got
stretch.
all our picks when the schedule came out. I got all of our picks already documented. We could go through it again, but I got it.
Yeah.
I got us at 12-5.
We were so wrong about everything last year, though.
You know what we both agreed on?
What?
A week 1 win.
We did.
And
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna see.
That's probably what happens. But we are still how many days away?
The 5th is the first game.
September 8th.
Oh my gosh,
How
there's
many
so much time.
days to September 8th? 20 days.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's an eternity.
Yeah, so
An eternity.
19 days as of when this will go up. So quite a bit of time.
Eternity.
Well, on that note, we're still going to be watching some football. All right. We got some things to be excited about.
Pumped.
I'm pumped too. All
Let's
right.
go.
I think that's all I got.
Hat throw again from
All
you.
right. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, my brother left a comment.
What do you say?
Yeah, he thinks Velus Jones is not going to make the team.
It's bullshit. You're wrong. You're wrong, Mike.
All right. Sorry, Michael. Try again next week.
I hit it.